What's up, Steve Cortica here. In this video, I'm going to talk about some soloing techniques over Great Tune Invitation. This month in my improvisation studio, we're working on this tune exclusively and have a bunch of different exercises laid out. I want to share some of those with you here and just show you some different ways to improvise over the A section to this fantastic tune. One of the things I really love about this chord progression is a great combination between modal playing as well as tonal or 2-5-1 improvisation. You have to be pretty well versed on how to stretch out over a tonality as well as know the language of the 2-5-1 progression in order to be functional on this tune. One of the things I really like to work with my students on is playing melodic arpeggios. And this is simply what it sounds like. It's playing arpeggios, but in a melodic sort of way. So if we look at the first chord, it's a D minor 7, and the whole melodic arpeggio concept can be taken and applied to one chord and then used on a chord progression. Over D minor 7, one of my favorite melodic shapes is to just play a triplet over one of the chord tones and then descend the rest of the 3 notes in the 7th chord. Let's check out what this sounds like. So all played in a row, that sounds like this. You'll hear there that I changed the rhythm a little bit, so we have some rhythmic juxtaposition going on top of what essentially is an arpeggio, but done in a melodic way. Let's check out a clip of me just improvising using this melodic arpeggio concept over the first A. This is something that you can use not only on just chord progressions, but also to highlight a melody in a really cool way. In my improvisation studio this month, I have 3 different melodic arpeggios laid out, and they cover each of the 3 main sections of invitation. The next thing I love to work with students on and teach my students is Motivic Improvisation. So using a singular motive, something just really simple, and being able to decorate the chord tones with this particular motive is all you really need to get started to being able to elaborate on a singular idea. That particular idea was enclosing the root starting on the flat third, going down to the major 7, 9 to the root. We can actually use this same idea to enclose all of the other chord tones of D minor 7. Putting them all together. So there you can hear how rhythm can be combined with this motive in order to get more bang with your material. Let's again check out improvising over the A section to invitation using this motive as source material. Adapting information like this to fit different chords and parts of chord progressions is an essential skill for a jazz improviser. I have a whole course centered around this entire topic of utilizing language in order to come up with choruses of music and using it to build your vocabulary in exponential ways by using language in order to memorize a chord progression. Not only does this method force you to play motivically, but it gives you the option to utilize any piece of language that you would want to learn and internalize and make part of your improvisation vocabulary. The third thing that is just really great to know how to do is to utilize the pentatonic scale and to pentatonically shift through the chord progression in order to play motivically and again make great phrases. One of my favorite pentatonic ideas sounds like this. And if you know this pattern well and are able to apply it to the different chords in invitation and which pentatonics work over the different chords in invitation, you're going to be able to have a lot to say over this chord progression that you didn't have before. In my studio this month, I have the entire scale syllabus for invitation laid out, and our bonus lesson for the month is going to be utilizing different pentatonic patterns over the chord progression. I'd share some of it with you now, but I haven't written it yet. It'll be out soon. Another great way to improve on this tune is to try writing your own chorus of improvisation over the chord progression. This invitation etude is beboppy in nature. It also has some really great motives that get compounded and evolve as the etude carries on. Let's hear the first A section of the invitation Motivic bebop etude. Last but not least, I always like to write out melodic ideas in all 12 keys. I'll share with you the 2-2-5s for this month in the studio. I'm going to play them in 2 different key centers and at a faster pace. The reason why I'm demonstrating these at this tempo is because ideally, in order for these to become part of your improvisational language, they need to flow and be able to come out of your subconscious and be ingrained deeply within your memory. If anything in this video is something of interest to you, check out what's going on my site and make sure you subscribe to my newsletter so you can check out what's happening with any future new offers and promotional material. I started out as mostly a classical musician and only really knew how to read music for about the first 5 or 6 years of my musical career. Part of the goal of why I created the studio and why I'm creating all these materials is because I want to bridge the gap for cats who know how to read music but are terrified of improvisation, much like I was in my earlier years. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, but improvisation is very much a visual art form in that we have to be able to picture what a chord looks like a lot of times before we can actually internalize what it sounds like. I know for me that by visualizing the chords and being able to play through them and see what they look like, it really reinforced and strengthened the theory of what they sounded like and helped to build my vocabulary and my ear to recognize all of the interesting things that exist within jazz theory. I've had a lot of awesome comments and feedback from my existing students, and I would love to just have more people involved on this journey with us. I'm going to close this video with my improvisation over the invitation chord progression from the studio live stream. We unpacked a lot of intricacies involving the dominant 7 sharp 11 chord and all the different shapes that exist within that chord and how I play over them and use them in my vocabulary. I hope you dig the sounds here. As always, please like and subscribe and stay tuned for future educational content.
Bye.